Every autumn, when the evenings grew earlier and the air smelled like apples and wood smoke, the children of Maple Street gathered to make paper lanterns. The long table outside the community hall was covered in colored paper, glue, and small jars of glitter. Everyone's lanterns looked neat and bright except for Mila's. Hers had wobbly stars, a moon that leaned to one side, and smudges where the paint had run. She tried to smile, but her stomach fluttered with nerves. When no one looked, she slipped her lantern behind her coat. "Maybe I just won't march this year," she whispered, watching the others laugh and show off their perfect creations. As the last light faded, Grandpa Leon, the parade's gentle leader, stepped forward. His grey scarf fluttered as he rang a tiny silver bell that jingled like winter snow. "Lanterns up," he called. One by one, soft golden lights flickered to life, spreading a warm glow along the street. The sound of leaves skittered like tiny dancers over the pavement. Mila hesitated, afraid her lantern would look silly, but the breeze seemed to whisper, "Be brave." She took a deep breath and lit the small candle inside. The flame wobbled, then steadied, and her lantern began to shine, uneven but real. The parade set off down Maple Street. A river of glowing lanterns floated through the dark, weaving between porches decorated with pumpkins. Neighbors waved from their steps, their hands wrapped around steaming mugs. Somewhere, faint and far away, someone played a flute, the tune drifting gently through the air like the scent of cinnamon. Mila walked near the back, her light bobbing softly. She didn't feel embarrassed anymore, just quiet. Watching the glow ahead, she felt the world slow down, every step a heartbeat, every light a tiny star that moved with her. At the corner, Leo's lantern, an orange one shaped perfectly like the sun, sputtered and went out with a sigh. "Oh no!" he gasped, his eyes wide. The line of children stopped. Mila froze too. She could keep walking, pretend she hadn't noticed, but then she remembered the whisper of the wind. "Be brave." Swallowing her fear, she stepped closer. Do you want to share my light?" she asked. Leo blinked, surprised. Her hands trembled as she held her uneven lantern next to his dark one. The rest of the parade waited, their faces glowing in the soft streetlight and the swirl of falling leaves. Together, they cupped their hands around both lanterns. Mila steadied the paper, Leo shielded the flame, and his lantern caught the glow. The light bloomed through its orange paper like sunrise through fog. "You saved it," Leo said, grinning. He studied hers and smiled wider. "Hey, your stars look real like constellations." Mila blinked, startled. She'd never thought of that. Maybe her messy little lantern wasn't wrong. It was just different. She looked at the scattered stars across its sides and suddenly saw them twinkle back at her. They continued down the path until the houses gave way to Maple Park, where giant trees arched overhead, their fiery leaves forming a glowing tunnel. Grandpa Leon led the way to the pond in the center. Mist rose from the dark water like a dream, and the children gasped. Their lanterns reflected perfectly on the surface, creating a twin parade beneath their feet, one above, one below, so real it looked as though two worlds were walking side by side. Mila's lantern glowed the brightest of them all, her wobbly moon shimmering right next to its reflection. Then a sudden gust of wind tumbled across the pond, scattering leaves and laughter. Little Noor, the youngest child, cried out. Her tiny lantern had slipped from her hands and rolled toward the water's edge. She froze in panic. Without thinking, Mila set her own lantern down on the ground. Its light glowed steady, like a beacon. "Here," she called, holding Noor's hand as they hurried toward the edge. "Follow the light." Guided by Mila's calm glow, Noor reached out just in time and caught her lantern before it floated away. When they returned, everyone cheered. Noor hugged her lantern to her chest. Thank you, she whispered. Your light showed the way. Leo nodded proudly. See? Told you your stars were magic. Mila's cheeks flushed warm. Around them, the children huddled together, their lanterns flickering like friendly hearts in the night. The air smelled of leaves and apple pie cooling on distant windowsills. For the first time all evening, Mila laughed out loud. Grandpa Leon rang his bell once more, the clear note floating through the trees. Every lantern matters, he said softly. But the bravest light is the one we share. The children began the walk home, their steps lighter, their lights brighter. And right in the middle, no longer hiding, walked Mila, her wobbly moon sailing proudly among the stars, shining brighter than ever. True beauty shines when we share our light. Helping others and being brave enough to be ourselves makes the whole world brighter.